Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are doing another old favorites reaction video. If you watched a couple of months ago, I posted a video where I reacted to my very first favorites video, which was June of 2018. I had very new to YouTube still, not great quality, but I checked back in on all the products I talked about in that video and shared with you whether they were products I still used and loved or whether I had moved on to something else. And that video ended up being super short because I really only had like 6 or 7 favorites in each video back then. So in this video, I'm actually gonna do 2 months. I'm gonna do July of 2018 and August of 2018. So let's get into it.
I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Well, I guess at that point I'd already decided that I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I couldn't remember actually when I finally committed or decided to commit to 3 videos a week and say I was gonna upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm still doing the same thing now.
These 2 channels have sucked me in, and they are not planner related channels. The first one is Amy Landino, and I came across her channel. It popped up in one of my recommended videos, and it was 7 habits to do every day, something like that.
Oh my gosh. So I talk about 2 YouTube channels. So far I've only mentioned one, and it is Amy Landino's YouTube channel. This is when I discovered Amy. I've talked about her a lot over the years. I greatly admire her. She has been such an inspiration to me, and I've said this a few places recently. Her more current stuff is not quite my vibe. It's not my favorite, but her old stuff, like the video that was recommended to me and then all the stuff I watched and binge in July of 2018, like I loved that content. I mean, that old school Amy is amazing. I do still subscribe to her channel, but I don't necessarily watch every video now.
After binging and binging some new videos, some old videos, I finally realized it's her. She has a different last name because she got married, but it's the girl from the Vlog Like a Boss book.
And then I realized I already owned her book and it was the same person. She just had a different last name on the book than she did on YouTube. But anyways, now I also have read her second book, Good Morning, Good Life, which I do recommend if you are somebody who wants to work on a morning routine.
The second YouTube video I've been binging on is called The Financial Diet.
This is so cool. I still love The Financial Diet and like secretly want to run into Chelsea somewhere in New York City and be her friend. And I did a collab with The Financial Diet over on Instagram where I talked about goals on their Instagram stories. Super cool that was when I discovered their YouTube channel. I still highly recommend The Financial Diet YouTube channel and Instagram.
The second thing I want to talk about is this cup.
Y'all, I've been using this cup. So, oh, this is so funny. Since that summer, I mean, that was 3 years ago, I've used a lot of other cups since then. I don't remember what came after. There had to have been a cup in between this cup and the bride cup that I started using after we got engaged, because that was almost a year and a half. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I went straight from the yellow cup to the bride cup. Well, this then became my work cup, and then this cup has been at the office. This cup has been collecting dust at my office for the last year and a half. I brought it home after I went to the office for the first time, gave it a good wash, and then when I lost my Planwithlaken water tumbler, and I haven't gotten the replacement yet as of the time I'm filming this video, I've been using this cup instead. So clearly, I still love this yellow cup. The Laken that was on it has since fallen off from that video, but I added my own sticker to it.
I don't like room temperature drinks unless it's red wine. The third thing I'm going to talk about is a planner item, and it is the Erin Condren sticky notes.
All right, the third thing is the Erin Condren Snap-In sticky notes, and I actually don't have any of those anymore. I love the idea of them, especially if you're using a coiled planner, but because the only coiled planner that I use right now that can take that kind of a snap in is the plum paper, and it's too big for the plum paper A5, so I just don't even use those anymore. I actually passed them on to a friend, so I don't even have any to show you right now. I think if you use a bigger coiled planner that's still a really cool product, sticky notes, not the greatest quality, but I think they were still pretty new then, so the novelty was there.
The fourth thing I'm going to talk about is my jacket.
You mean this suit jacket? I definitely still have this and definitely still love this. It is actually my go-to suit jacket when I have a virtual Zoom presentation. I just think it looks so professional on Zoom. I mean, I like it in person too. Obviously, when I talked about it 3 years ago, it was an in-person suit jacket, but I do still have it and wear it not regularly because I'm not going to the office, but when I have a presentation on Zoom, I do pull out that suit jacket.
Okay, while we're talking about clothes, I'll tell you guys about my next favorite, which is Rent the Runway Unlimited.
I did love Rent the Runway Unlimited, and I would sign up again in a heartbeat. I actually canceled Rent the Runway Unlimited prior to everything shutting down because I was trying to save a little bit of money for the wedding, and that was just one of the things that got cut out of the budget. when we, like right after we did the wedding budget, it was like, okay, what can I cut from my personal budget? And Rent the Runway Unlimited was one of those things to go. I still think it's amazing. And now they've actually created a less expensive option where you have either less items or less, I think it's less swaps every month. So when we do go back to the office eventually, and then potentially after we're done with the wedding, I might work that back into the budget and sign up for it again, because it was something that I really loved, being able to try new outfits, have new tops for YouTube videos so you're not seeing the same tops all the time, and it was just really like practical when I was going to work 5 days a week.
The next two items are not new items by any means, but I just went and restocked them at Sephora. So I thought I would share them with you guys as things that I have loved for a long time. The first one is the Clinique Take the Day Off Cleansing Balm.
I still love that. I still love and use that. I'm not running to the bathroom right now to grab it, but I did recently repurchase that because that is still the only cleansing balm that I like and use. I have tried other ones since, like in between that 3-year span, but that Clinique Take the Day Off Cleansing Balm is still my go-to, and it is still in my shower.
The other thing in my Sephora bag is a huge splurge, and it is a face mask by Claudelie, I'm not sure how to say that, but it is their Instant Detox Mask. Cleanses impurities and tightens pores.
I don't currently have this mask in my possession, and it is not because I didn't like it. It is a great face mask, especially if you have oily skin, but it just was a splurge, and in the last 3 years, I have learned of other face masks that I like better that are either slightly less expensive or also provide other features besides drying, and face masks are hard to get through. Like, especially those kinds of sized ones, it takes a while to get through them. So I just have other face masks in my rotation that I have been using now. Could I see myself purchasing that face mask again someday? Maybe. Definitely. It was like, there was nothing wrong with it, minus that it was a little bit pricey. I did love it, but I don't currently use it right now.
My last favorite for the month is not an object, but it is a habit that I have started adopting this month that I feel like has just made me a more productive and a happier person. I have always been somebody who needed noise in the background while I was doing something. And so now that Netflix is a thing, I have gravitated in the past towards always having TV shows on in the background, specifically TV shows I watched before. So I'm not trying to pay attention to the plot line or the episode, but just as background noise. So Friends, Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girl, those are my like big go-to ones on Netflix. What I started doing, instead of having Friends or some TV show as my background noise, I started playing music.
Okay, this was a habit that actually changed a lot of things for me, was not having TV on in the background while I was doing some things. I actually don't do that anymore. Like, I haven't reverted back to that, but what I do now instead is in the time that I would listen to, well, at the time I would watch Friends or like Gilmore Girls or Gossip Girl, and then I switched to music. Now that's when I listen to podcasts. So that's when I get my podcast in. So it's not that I like undid this habit and reverted back, but I have replaced it with something else, but something that I still think is valuable. I still think podcasts are valuable. And then sometimes it is a YouTube video, but I also think that that's valuable. And it works for me. I don't feel like that's a habit that I need to switch. But one of the other things I love about this part of the video is this is when I started including a habit in my favorites video, is that every month I would talk about a new habit that I incorporated. And that's something that I still do today when I talk about my favorites. All right, that was it for July of 2018. Let's move on to August.
So the first thing shouldn't really surprise y'all if you have been following me on Instagram and know I've been spending a lot of time at the beach and at the pool. It is the Erin Condren large tote pool bag. I'm not really sure what to call this.
I actually don't have this bag anymore. Honestly, I don't know what happened to it. I really don't know where it went. Maybe it got lost in the move, but I went to look for this bag for this video and I did not have it in my possession anymore. I do still think those tote beach bags are a good option. I do have a lot of tote bags though, and my go-to beach bag is actually this like clear plastic one from Target that's got like mesh on the bottom, it helps with the sand, and that one just seems to work really well for me.
Okay, the next things are 2 YouTube channels that I have been binging on this month. So the first channel that I have added to my binge watching this month is called Channel Notes.
So the creator of Channel Notes, actually Michelle B, is somebody that I do still watch today, but I watch her main channel, and she focuses all on like personal development, minimalism, goals, like habits, self-care, all of those kinds of things. And she does still have a very crisp, clean, beautiful like aesthetic that I do love to watch. She's also in Australia and I love to listen to her accent, but I do recommend her channel and I do still love to listen to her, just not this particular channel talking about YouTube stuff.
The second channel I've been watching is actually more of a series on a channel. So the channel, I don't think I'm gonna say this right, is Shed a Line. It is a Canadian women's magazine. Yep, you heard me. But they have a series, a bunch of videos called The Home Print. And it's about turning different aspects of homes, especially small ones, into cute, fashionable spaces on a budget. And I basically have watched every single one of the home print videos on this channel.
Okay, so I don't say it specifically in this video, but the girl who does the videos of this series then went and created her own channel. And I did continue to watch her for a while, and then I stopped, and then just recently started rewatching her when we moved into our new apartment. And now it's Alexandra, I can't think of what her last name is. I can picture her. I will leave her channel link down below. But I just started in the last like 6 months not rewatching, but like watching her videos again since we were moving, and I needed to decorate our new apartment. Just so funny. I just feel like all these like timing of these things that happened 3 years ago with the cup and anyways.
Okay. The next thing on the list are the Mildliner highlighters.
Of course, I still love my Mildliners. I still have all the colors. I do not use them in the same fashion I used to, which is when I was trying to bullet journal in 2018. But I use them to highlight notes in my books. I use them to highlight things on my planner pages. I use that like on my daily layouts if I need to, you know, accent something. I use them to like decorate some things sometimes, like as markers instead of just highlighters. I still love the Mildliners.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is actually an app, and it is called Stepcoin. Yes, they are trying to play off of the term Bitcoin. Essentially what happens is it tracks your steps that you take every single day, and you get step coins for your steps. And then you can take those step coins and exchange them for other things.
All right. I don't know whatever happened to this app. I don't know if I ever really exchanged it for anything, or if why I stopped using it. I looked it up and it's still a thing, and like maybe I'll re-download it and see if it actually works. I go on to say that it was a new company and this was 3 years ago. So if they're still around now, then they're doing something right. So I might re-download it and see how that goes, but definitely not something I use regularly now.
Okay, the next thing on my list of favorites this month are these little white cards.
Okay, wow, I can't believe it was that long ago that I discovered these. So it's basically a little white credit card, and what I was doing was wrapping washi samples around it. Well, I definitely still have them, and I have all my washi samples. In fact, last year when we were in Texas for the summer, I like went through all of these and like reorganized them. And then my goal was to buy like something to, like a booklet or something to actually organize them in so that they're not just like in this massive Ziploc bag. But like, look at all those. Still a really cool concept. If you are somebody who uses washi samples, like it's a really cool concept. I feel like washi samples are not as much of a thing anymore, especially right now when we're not going to events where we can like exchange samples with friends, but still a really cool concept.
Okay, the next thing is a beauty item. Also way late to the party on this. This isn't new by any means, but it's new to me. It's a new favorite to me. And it is the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray.
I actually still really love that setting spray, but kind of like that face mask, it is not inexpensive. So I have it still, but I only use it for special occasions. So it is not my everyday setting spray. My everyday setting spray is the NYX Matte setting spray because it is much less expensive. I can just get it at Ulta. And then I use the Urban Decay All-Nighter for like, again, special occasions when I'm gonna be out all day and I wanna make sure my makeup lasts all day.
Okay, the last thing I'm gonna talk about is a protein shake. So this is the Premier Protein Shake in the individual containers in chocolate.
Oh my gosh. I just talked about these in a vlog recently. I do love those. I love the Premier Protein shakes, especially the chocolate flavor. But when I started working with the nutrition coach at the beginning of the year, she looked at the ingredients of those and was like, I wouldn't recommend these. So I actually have since switched over to the Quest protein shakes. Much better ingredients, still delicious, not quite as delicious as the Premier ones, but still good and much better for me. I will say though that the Premier Protein ones are easier to find. Like you can find them at Walgreens. And so if I am traveling and I want to grab like some protein shakes to have for snacks or to fill me up or whatnot, I will still sometimes grab them when I'm not at home. But at home, I try to keep the Quest ones. All right, that is it. Those were all of my favorites in July and August of 2018. A lot of those things I still use and love now. I mean, there are a lot of things that have been tried and true for me for 3 years. It's amazing that I keep finding things to make favorites videos about, given that I'm still using the same things 3 years later. Let me know down in the comments if there are any of these products that you also use and love, and let me know if you're enjoying these types of videos where I go back and reference my favorites videos. If you were not part of the YouTube community, then maybe you're learning about some new things that I just don't talk about regularly because I talked about them 3 years ago, and even though they're things that I still use and love today. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Like a smaller, not smaller, that's not the right word, especially those big like jug tart, blah, 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 blah. Could I foresee myself purchasing that? What is this hair doing? I don't say a particular specific, but I use them to highlight books in my notes.